if I go to places and I'm hosting a room and I try and play nice, and I notice that, you know, it's kind of playing down a little bit, or maybe the comics aren't getting what they need to get on stage, you know, they're not getting the energy or whatever. Okay, so the first card you can pull is you go out there and you just start ripping on the audience. Now, for some reason, when you rip on an audience, all of a sudden, especially if you do a decent job, they're on your side. And whatever comic that you bring up next is going to have the best set they've ever had in their entire fucking life. And it's just, it is what it is. It really is. It's really kind of like, oh, you don't want me to talk about the fucking, I'm talking about you. You right there, I'm gonna talk about you. And the whole crowd is like, yeah, talk about him. It's like, all right.
Your keywords were if you do a decent job.
Absolutely.
But you gotta remember, you a glutton for punishment.
My favorite moment of Ralph doing a decent job was when he announces to the crowd what the rules are at the start of every show. So everyone's clear, and he reminds them repeatedly throughout the show. One woman decides to sit in the front row, and she's on her cell phone. Ralph snatches the cell phone, brings the microphone, and has a very explicit conversation with this particular individual. It's like, by the way, you know this bitch is at my show, right? She knows the rules, but she must be retarded. So I'm gonna tell you and tell her again, shut the fuck up. Then hands her the phone, I think it's for you. The rules are the rules.
Mom says call back.
I'm starting to, again, I don't even know if it's a persona thing, but there's another story like that floating around where and again, you know, it's one of the things you think about post-weight, you know, but like I was at the Red House Tavern, shout out to Dave Schofer. And
so it's just you and Dave?
Yeah, it felt like it. No, it was about 20. Dave. Yeah, Uncle Dave. It was about 20, it was about 25, 30 people in the room, very small room. But it was a XXX show or something like that. I was supposed to headline, and I did. And there's this group of guys over by the bar. And I mean, through every comic who was competing, through the feature, these sorry bastards were talking the whole damn night. And yeah, maybe I do have a small tick because of the way that the room is run that I happen to be at. Like, when I'm at a place and there's a comic on stage, I feel like people should shut the fuck up. That's just how I feel. And I might go and say something to somebody, even though it's not my room. But that's okay. So this one, I'm staying calm. I get on stage, I start doing my shit, and I make a joke that breaks up the section of dudes that are talking. And I still can't tell you what I said. I broke up this group of dudes, and one of the main dudes who was talking was like, yeah, shut them all down, shut them up. And without thinking, I was like, you were the main motherfucker talking. If you wouldn't have been fucking talking, everybody else would have shut up. And I just jumped on this dude. Like, I jumped on him, and I jumped, it was wrong. Like, I jumped on him, like, rawr, jumped on him. The whole room laughs. I joked this dude all the way out the door. Like, clowned him all the way out the door. And then as soon as he left, I went right back into my set, finished out another 10 minutes. I was up there for about 15 to 18 minutes. And out of all the shit I said, everybody at the end of the night came up to me like, it was so dope the way you handled that one section of people. I didn't hear anything else I said. It was just like, that one group of people, the way you fucked them up and made them shut up, that was awesome. But you don't know what I said after I made them shut up, do you? No, not really. But what you did to shut them up was great.
Well, don't forget, comedy is based on conflict. That's exactly what it is.
It's the public hanging. It's the public hanging.
And I think you're right. It's important. It's also important to kind of command a certain respect. And I think of an example where John was doing stand-up, and a guy came up to the stage and wanted to take the mic out of his hand, and there was a little.
Really?
That will stand out forever in my.
Where was that at?
It was at the meeting place. We've talked about, John and I have talked about this, but
oh right. Oh,
John said it like it happens often. Which time was it? Hold on.
Which one is this?
No, I mean it was one of the. It was, and I remember thinking, you know, you handled that so well. Like a guy was about to throw down. He was actually talking at the bar, and you were, you know, very similar situation, but he was maybe had a little too much to drink. But you handled that very well. And you know, it was about commanding that respect and knowing that like that's your time, like this is my time to be here.
Well, you live in your dream. You gotta protect your own too.
Yeah.
Friday I did Vespucci's, and there was a girl right at the front who was on her cell phone and trying to make her cell phone work during the sets, and the other comedians were kind of like bemused by it. And then I go up there, and I wasn't even planning on doing it, but She looked like Christy McNichol. She had like this. These 70s hair. And I started talking about that and how I had a Christy McNichol poster on my wall, and it took me through puberty, and it just went on from there.
Was it like the pirate movie?
And I was like,
You gotta be over 40 to get that reference.
and I was like, you ain't gonna be on your cell phone anymore at comedy shows, are you? And she said something, and I said, shut the fuck up.